Here's a question that's going to hit you like a cold slap of reality. Why are you still thinking about someone who walked away from you like you meant nothing? Right now, there are millions of men sitting in their rooms at 3 a.m., scrolling through her Instagram, analyzing her every story, wondering what they did wrong. They're writing texts they'll never send, having imaginary conversations where they win her back, and slowly losing their minds trying to decode why she left. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about getting her back is completely backwards? What if the very thing you're doing to win her over is exactly what's pushing her further away? Tonight, I'm going to show you the 7 psychological triggers that flip the script entirely. Because here's the brutal truth: she doesn't miss you when you're chasing her. She misses you when you disappear completely. Let me paint you a picture of 2 different men. The first one is probably you right now. He's constantly available, always responding, always trying to prove his worth. When she pulls away, he pulls closer. When she goes cold, he turns up the heat. He thinks more effort equals more attraction. The second man? He operates from a completely different reality. When she pulls away, he doesn't even notice because he's too busy building his empire. When she goes cold, he's already warm from the fire he's building in his own life. He doesn't chase because he doesn't need to. Guess which one she can't stop thinking about. See, most guys have been programmed to believe that love means being available, being accommodating, being the nice guy who never rocks the boat. But attraction doesn't work that way. Attraction is about scarcity, mystery, and value, not availability. What I'm about to share isn't just theory. These are the psychological patterns I've observed in thousands of relationships. The hidden dynamics that most men never understand until it's too late. So if you're ready to stop being the guy she takes for granted and become the man she regrets losing, let's dive into the psychology of authentic masculine power. Here's something that's going to sting. You've been auditioning for a role in her life story instead of being the director of your own. Think about it. When she called at midnight, you answered. When she needed emotional support, you dropped everything. When she was bored, you became her entertainment. You became the reliable supporting character in her drama. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you stop playing that role, not out of spite, not out of anger, but out of genuine self-respect, something in her mind breaks. She's used to you being predictable. She knows exactly how you'll respond to her breadcrumbs, her mixed signals, her hot and cold behavior. That predictability gave her a sense of control over the situation. But when you suddenly become unpredictable, when you stop jumping through her hoops, when you stop being available on demand, her entire mental model of you shatters. She starts thinking, wait, this isn't how this is supposed to go. He's supposed to be chasing me. He's supposed to be trying to win me back. Who is this person? That confusion, that disorientation is the first crack in her armor. Because you're no longer the supporting character she cast you as. You've stepped into the leading role of your own life, and she doesn't have a script for that. The man who used to orbit her emotions is now walking his own path, silent, confident, unreachable, and that version of you? She's never seen him before. Energy is the language of attraction. Words lie, but energy doesn't, and right now, she can feel exactly where your energy is flowing. Is your energy still leaking toward her like water through a cracked dam? Are you still checking her social media at 2 a.m.? Still hoping she texts? Still organizing your entire emotional state around her moods? If so, she feels that energetic desperation, and it repels her on a subconscious level. But watch what happens when you completely redirect that energy. When you pull it back from her orbit and focus it entirely on yourself. Your goals, your growth, your mission. This isn't about playing games or pretending not to care. This is about genuinely investing in yourself with the same intensity you used to invest in her. Suddenly, you're not showing up in her notifications. You're not reacting to her posts. You're not available for her random emotional downloads. Your energy becomes focused, purposeful, magnetic. But it's pulling away from her. She can feel this shift even when you're not around. It's like a frequency that suddenly went quiet. A constant background hum of your attention that she took for granted. Gone. And here's the psychological trick. The human mind always notices absence more than presence. When something that was always there suddenly disappears, It creates a void that the mind obsesses over. Your energy was white noise in her life until it wasn't. Now that silence is deafening, she starts wondering, why isn't he watching my stories? Why isn't he liking my posts? What's he doing that's so important he doesn't have time for me anymore? And just like that, you flip the script. She's now the one wondering about you for too long. You've been an open book. Every emotion written across your face. Every thought spelled out in your texts. Every reaction predictable and immediate. That transparency was your biggest mistake because it gave her complete control over your emotional state. She knew exactly which buttons to push, exactly how to get a reaction, exactly how to keep you interested but not too confident. But what happens when you become emotionally unreadable? When your responses become rare, minimal, and impossible to decode? When she can no longer predict your reactions, when she can't read your mood from a single emoji, when your silence becomes louder than your words ever were, that's when her mind goes into overdrive. Is he over me? Is he talking to someone else? Why is he so calm? What does that short response mean? Why didn't he ask me anything back? The questions multiply because she no longer has easy answers. You've become a puzzle she can't solve. And nothing is more addictive to the human mind than an unsolved mystery. But here's the key. This isn't an act. This isn't a strategy you're performing. This is you developing genuine emotional intelligence and self-control. This is you learning that your emotions are yours to manage, not hers to manipulate. When you stop wearing your heart on your sleeve for someone who treated it carelessly, when you stop offering explanations to someone who never asked the right questions, when you become genuinely okay with being misunderstood, that's real power, and that power, it's magnetic in ways that desperation never could be. This section is going to hit different because it's about becoming someone she didn't even know you could be, while she was busy taking you for granted, while she was exploring other options, while she was treating you like a backup plan. You were quietly becoming a completely different person. Maybe you've been hitting the gym religiously. Maybe you've been building your business. Maybe you've been developing new skills, new friendships, new perspectives on life. The point is, you've been evolving, and now she sees it. Not because you're trying to show off, not because you're posting thirst traps, but because authentic transformation is impossible to hide. Your confidence is different. Your posture is different. The way you carry yourself through the world has fundamentally changed. You're sharper, more intentional, more focused. You're surrounded by better people who actually appreciate your value. This creates a profound psychological effect called regret and loss aversion. She starts questioning her own judgment. Was this potential always there? How did I miss this? What else about him did I not see? But here's what makes this so powerful. This transformation happened after she left. She doesn't get to take credit for inspiring it. She can't claim she always saw your potential. She just has to watch from the sidelines as you become everything she never appreciated. And if another woman is now seeing and appreciating what she overlooked, that regret cuts even deeper. She doesn't just miss who you were, she mourns who you've become without her. She realizes she didn't lose the guy she knew. She lost access to the man you were becoming. That's the kind of regret that keeps people up at night, wondering, what if? There's a massive difference between going silent to get a reaction and finding genuine peace. Most guys go quiet as a strategy. That's still playing her game, just with different rules. But genuine peace? That's a completely different level of power that most people never experience. Peace means you're genuinely okay either way. It means her silence doesn't disturb your sleep. Her games don't throw off your emotional state. Her potential return wouldn't rescue you because you don't need rescuing. This kind of emotional stability is rare in today's world, and it's absolutely magnetic. When a woman encounters a man who has found genuine inner peace, it shakes her to her core. She expected sadness, you gave her serenity. She expected anger, you gave her acceptance. She expected desperation, you gave her detachment. She expected chaos, you gave her calm. That's not what she prepared for. She had strategies for dealing with your emotions, but she has no strategy for dealing with your peace. When she realizes that she no longer has the power to disrupt your emotional state, When she understands that you found something inside yourself that she can't touch or control, it fundamentally changes how she sees you. You're no longer someone she can manage or manipulate. You've become someone who exists independently of her validation, her attention, her moods. This piece isn't performed, it's earned through doing the inner work, through building a life so fulfilling that her absence becomes noticeable but not devastating. And here's the beautiful paradox: the less you need her validation, the more valuable that validation becomes to her. So here's where you stand right now. You have a choice to make, and this choice will determine not just whether she comes back, but who you become in the process. You can keep playing the old game, the game where you chase, explain, prove, and beg for scraps of attention from someone who's already shown you how little they value what you offer. You can keep being the guy who gets taken for granted, the backup plan, the emotional support system that never gets supported back, or you can step into a completely different reality. You can become the man who's genuinely missed when he's gone because he's too busy building something meaningful to notice who's not there. But let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't about her anymore. This transformation you're about to undergo, it's not a strategy to win her back. It's a commitment to becoming someone you're proud to be, regardless of who stays or goes, because here's what's going to happen. When you start operating from this level of authentic self-respect, when you start building a life so compelling that being part of it becomes a privilege instead of a given, something magical occurs. You stop caring whether she comes back because you're no longer the same person she left. You've evolved beyond needing her validation because you've found something better, your own approval, and if she does come back, she won't be coming back to the old you. She'll be coming back to a man who's proven he doesn't need her to be complete, which paradoxically makes him infinitely more attractive. But if she doesn't come back, you've still won, because you've become someone who attracts better, someone who commands respect, someone whose presence adds value instead of seeking it. Stop waiting for permission to be great. Stop seeking validation from someone who couldn't see your worth when they had unlimited access to it. Start building a life so powerful that being excluded from it becomes their loss, not yours. The transformation starts now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, subscribe if you want more content on building authentic masculine power. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't get her attention by trying to be seen. You get it by becoming someone who's no longer waiting to be noticed. Your power was never hers to give. It's time you started using it.